Welcome to PM Express. Tonight we will be assessing the work of a very important group of individuals in our democracy. They are the minority. In Parliament, they play a crucial role as part of the checks and balances, really. If you want to have a stronger democracy, you need a strong opposition. And in Parliament, the minority provides that opposition. They check the government. This year has been an eventful year, from several allegations of corruption to budget issues, finances that had to be probed, etc. So has the minority delivered on this mandate that they have as we move into a very important year before the 2020 elections? Have they set the tone for what a proper minority should be? And we'll also be examining a very important part of parliamentary work, which is the Public Accounts Committee. Its work is crucial because every year we read the Auditor General's report and you see the work of that the PAC does. I mean, Public Accounts Committee, the name itself suggests what it does. And we'll be interrogating the work they've done this year and what it holds for them going forward. And that's why we're grateful to have with us tonight the Deputy Minority Leader, who is also the Chair of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, James Avedzi. He's a very good friend of mine. We talk a lot on the phone sometimes when the controversial issues come up. He's a man who doesn't hold back. He speaks his mind and he does it without fear or favor. I'm grateful that you join us on PM Express.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's start by talking about the minority this year. Give me your assessment of the way you guys have done in Parliament.
Thank you very much. First of all, let's look at the structure of our Parliament. Since we started this the Republican Constitution in 1993, the structure is such that the membership of Parliament, or the number, has increased from 200 to 230 and now 275. The Constitution made provision that in the House of our Parliament we have two caucuses, the Majority Caucus and the Minority Caucus. And the Constitution provides that the party which has the largest number in the House is the Majority Caucus, or form the majority. And that is the party, usually a party in government. We're looking for a day where we'll have a minority government. Yeah. So for now, we always have a majority government. So the president wins, and he always wins with the highest number of members of Parliament. So they form the majority. And then the party with the smaller number form the minority. But because in our situation, we always have two major parties, the MPP and the NDC. So where MPP is a majority, you have the NDC as a minority. And where NDC is the majority, you have the MPP as a minority. But we have other smaller parties, but the Constitution says that those smaller parties will decide which part of the House or which side of the House you want to join. So in those cases where we have PNC also having one or two members of the House, and then all independent members also in the House, they have to decide whether they want to work with the majority or to work with the minority. So we have that structure up to today. Now, the party in government, which is the majority party in Parliament, is given the executive power. So they have to use the resources of Ghana to take care of the running of the affairs of government. Whatever is needed as a country in terms of our development, they have to provide those. Both physical development, both social development, everything, they have to do that. The role of the minority, therefore, is to serve as a check on what the majority is doing. Because if we don't have a minority to check the government will have excessive powers and they can do anything. But once we have the minority or somebody checking on you, they will be cautious on what they do. So our role in minority is to serve as a check on the role the majority is playing. And for us, for 2 years now, that NDC came to become the minority in Parliament with 106 members, and then the MPP with 169. This is the first time that we have this big gap, a difference of 63 members. Yeah. In the past, we have a difference of 9. I remember 2009 to 2012 Parliament. the difference between the NDC majority and the MPP minority was only 8 votes, 8 members. Then from 2013 to 2016, the difference was around 23. Because we were having 148 plus 4 PNC and independent people making 152, and they have 123. So a difference of 22 or 23. Now, difference of 63.
Yeah.
So we are playing our role to ensure the government does the right thing. But you see, decisions in Parliament are made through voting. So where the minority speak against certain policies of government, where minority think that those policies are not going to be in the interest of the larger population, the majority, if they don't reason with the minority, they will use their numbers to overrule whatever position minority is holding. So that has been the trend so far. There are a number of issues that we think that it is not the best thing for government to do. But because they have the numbers, they always win the vote. And that is the beauty of democracy, where it is said that the minority will have their say, the majority will have their way. That is, you can see clearly that during the debate, the minority win the debate based on the argument they are making.
Really?
Yes. Most cases, minority win the debate.
That'll be significantly disputed by your majority folks.
No.
Colleagues.
When they come to voting, they win the vote. That does not mean that the point being raised by the minority is not relevant. They always use their numbers. And it's the same in all jurisdictions, where the majority, once they decide to do, there are certain times that even the public will be against that decision. But once is their party position that we want this to be done, it will be done.
You talk about numbers. Let's look at some of the specifics. Recently, there's been the controversies around the drones that will deliver blood and other medical essentials. The minority were vehement in opposing that thing.
Yeah.
The day it was supposed to be approved, after it had been, and I must say that the minority raised concerns the first day it came. It was suspended because of your concern that you raised. Yeah. And so we'll analyze that, because that some may say it's minority doing a good job because you raise government, and the majority say, hey, we are listening. So that's what. But fundamentally, when it came down to the day they were going to pass it, it turns out that you could not marshal enough of your people in the house.
We did not have the number to marshal.
No, you did have the number, because the majority that they failed to produce the numbers.
You think that
numbers, and you had more numbers.
You think that when we are taking time to marshal our numbers, they will also sit down unconcerned?
But when it came to vote, when it came to the voting,
that is what I'm raising.
Bottom line,
they had 100.
You could have delivered the numbers to kill that.
Wait. They had 102, and we had 158 at the voting, which means that how many numbers that they did not produce? About 67. Yeah. And how many did we not produce? About 50.
But that 50 would have killed the bill on that day because of the numbers.
With the assumption that the majority will
fail to produce
their numbers.
But a lot of those guys probably were not in the house that day.
Look, we know that what we want to achieve is to let Ghanaians know that this is the point. If Ghanaians share our opinion that what we are saying is right, we have achieved our
But you admit that that day was an opportunity miss.
It wasn't.
Because if you deliver that your additional 50,
it wasn't.
Who knows what would have happened?
Some members, don't forget that we are at the same time looking at the estimate of ministries and departments.
True.
Members of the minority who belong to various committees, most of them were in committee meetings. The same way the majority members were also in the same committees. So assuming that we want to whip all our members to leave the committee to come to the floor, they will do the same. So there's no way.
But at least do it and let's see what happens. Because it's never happened before that a minority side on a day manages to kill a bill that the government is pushing. That day was one opportunity that you had. At least bring all your members to the floor and let's see what happens. But you couldn't.
Anybody making that argument is making that argument wrongly. Because you are assuming the majority will not do anything to increase their numbers. That assumption is wrong.
But we will never know because you didn't bring your numbers. We will never know.
Well, that is a number we marshal. And first of all, we knew from beginning that let's just make our point. When it comes to the voting, they have the numbers. They will vote against it because that is a position taken by their party. Individually, you can see from some of them that they are not even comfortable with agreement. But collectively, they cannot open up. And that is what they do. And that is one of the weaknesses of our parliament.
Yeah, but that's a parliament that you've been part of for decades now.
And I'm telling you...
And when you were in the majority, the same
yes,
to the minority.
I'm not saying that that is the weaknesses during this time. Yeah. I said that is the weaknesses of our parliament.
Yeah. We'll discuss that because I want us to... Because you see that this theme will run through a lot of the specific cases we'll be touching on this year. And it comes to how effective you've been, apart from raising the issues. Yeah. But fundamentally, it goes to saving the public purse and raising the issues. Yeah. Apart from the drones matter that you managed to get government to step down on, we know recently we've been talking...
They did not step down?
I mean, initially. Because you got them to suspend it the first time.
No, that is a game.
Yeah.
That is a game they were playing. They knew that first time that we were raising the issue.
Oh, they didn't have people?
Oh, yes. That is a game.
Oh, I see. So it's not because you had raised...
Even the day that it was taken, if we had marshaled our numbers, and they know that all the 106 members were available, they will not take the vote.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. If you say that, I have to take it because you've been...
That is a game. That is what they play.
You've been majority too, so you know how this is played. But we've been talking a lot because we'll start from here and go back to January. Last week, we've been talking a lot about one of the biggest controversies with Parliament, which is a deal to buy a Chancery building in Oslo. That has become a very big deal. The president waded into it. The president was upset that it becomes such a big deal. He says, you guys, you're fabricating stories and that you simply want to distract them. And so they're not going to fall for it. He says, this allegation you're making, the money hasn't been spent. It is an intention. They've withdrawn it. And yet, you've made such a big deal of it as a minority in Parliament. And you're wasting, in fact, you're wasting everybody's time. Your reaction?
Evans, do you think that the president will go public and said what the minority was saying, minority was right? He won't. He will not. And that saddens me as Ghanaian. Because, look, this is a president who, where there is an allegation of corruption, he takes over and said, I've set up a committee to investigate. And at the end, I said, nothing wrong was done. That's the president talking. He set up his own committee and then declared his own result and forcing it on we Ghanaians to accept. No. There's no way that the president was going to say that what we were saying about the Oslo thing, we were right. Let me tell you, the deal has been sealed. You produce document to the committee when the committee requested. Don't forget that the $50 million was a loan that was taken by the NDC in 2016. I work on that loan. The purpose of that loan was to renovate our embassies and chanceries.
Okay.
So
you initiated that?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I see.
We did. 2016, I work on that.
Because it's been presented this week as if it's something.
We did. I work on it. I was not to use it for a new property, to acquire new property. It was to use to renovate existing accommodation that we have. Now, unfortunately, NDC left power and you came. So you have to implement because governance is a continual process. So you are coming to now you have changed it. You have decided to use it to even acquire new properties. Fine. You produce document to show that this $50 million facility, this is how you are using it. And you have allocated over 16 million for the Oslo Chancery for both office and residency. And it was there. And you provided the information. Now, this facility, as we all know, we did more work. When this information got to us, we sent people to Norway, to Oslo to go and verify. They've been to the place. Renovation is ongoing. The specification given by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on this is how we want the number of rooms and all those things were ongoing. They interview people. We have the video and the audio. This is property of Ghana. This is what we're doing for them. Fine. The property was bought in 2014 by a lady. $2.9 million. And in 2017, The lady sold the property, the same property, to unknown person. Unknown. As you speak, we don't know the person. At 3.5. 3-year difference, 600,000 difference. Now, in a year's time, or less than a year, that property is now being sold at $12.2 million. You have to tell us, Government of Ghana, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you are not buying this property directly from the first owner. You are buying it from the second owner who bought it from the first owner. You should be able to tell us who that person is. They are not able to tell. Now, even assuming that we know that person.
Why is that important? Knowing who
it's
the
important. Is. We need to know who that person is.
Why? Explain to me why that is.
It could happen that that person is in the cycle of government. Oh, yeah. It could happen. Being used as a channel to dupe the country. So it's important we know that person.
That's a conspiracy theory.
No. We should know. If it's Ivan who bought it at 3.5, yeah, selling at 12.2, we should know. The Evans, why?
It was a Norwegian?
If it's Norwegian, we should know. Why is that person? Why can't you disclose the person? So this is one thing that you guys to take on. Let's know that person. Whether the person actually sold the property to the embassy, the foreign affairs at 12.2, we will know. You cannot say that this is not a deal. Now the issue has been raised. Quickly you went and said, oh no, we have withdrawn from the deal.
But they have.
Yes, they have withdrawn. But in the first place, if the Minister of Foreign Parliament had gone ahead, if the issue had not been raised, would you have known of this?
No.
Somebody would have paid that money.
No, but they said they withdrew it on the 12th
No, I'm saying
December.
that, assuming that this issue did not even come to the public domain.
The money would have been spent. Possibly.
Yes. So that is a role of
because
minority.
The government says, though, it's not because you did anything. It says the Norwegian newspapers, the statement the government issued, so they saw the report in Norwegian newspapers and they decided
so that's how they withdrew?
Yes, not because
so if the Norwegian newspaper did not report on it, they will not withdraw.
Well,
that is what it's telling you.
Yeah, well,
so they were prepared to spend public money for no value.
But they haven't spent it.
I'm saying that they were prepared to spend public money for no value.
But
they were caught.
Okay.
That was why they didn't spend. If they were not caught, they would have spent that money. That is our point.
Okay.
That is a point. Now, if Norwegian newspaper raised it and we have not taken it, nobody took it from their side as government people to raise it, definitely is a minority. So if we don't have the minority, this issue will not come to the public.
But on this issue, Mr. Avedzi, government had said quite emphatically that they haven't spent a penny. And your public accounts committee should know this better. If the penny hasn't been spent, there's no need.
Well, we'll come to the work of public accounts.
We'll come to that. But I'm saying that.
But just to let you know that at this point of this transaction, the public accounts committee will not be in the known at all.
At all. Okay, but let's stay with this issue. Government says we haven't spent a penny. So what's the issue?
They were prepared to spend.
Yeah, I get your point. I get that point. But they haven't.
Yes, they haven't spent because...
They haven't wasted in the public funds.
If truly they have not spent... In fact, we are still working. We are still working on how to get the information, to know exactly how much they paid.
You think something has been spent?
But the Minister of Finance came to say that, yeah, we have transferred the money, but we haven't paid them.
No, but it was 15 million CDs that was released to them. CDs for Oslo, for Mauritius, for one other country. CDs. I mean, that clearly is not for the Oslo building.
So the document that we were using, that they themselves submitted to the committee who manufactured
that is the intention to spend $16 million.
Yes. That is the point we are raising. Why do you have the intention to spend public money without value?
But they spotted that there was no value, so they pulled the plugs.
Why do you even in the first place agree on that? That is a point. Even please take it.
It should have raised an alarm.
You shouldn't have even agreed to enter into any agreement.
Maybe they didn't know that the person.
They didn't know what
the person bought it for $3 million.
Oh, so
maybe they didn't know.
So you want to know how much the previous person bought it before you know how much to pay for it. Do a value analysis, value for money analysis to find out that this property I'm buying, will it cost that much? If you fail to do that, either you fail to do it, that makes you incompetent, or you did it intentionally to dupe the people of Ghana. That is one of them.
I have also heard that this building, the reason why the price went up is that the owner spent time making changes to the building. And we'll interrogate that. We'll interrogate that because I want to take a quick break. We'll interrogate that because government had come back with some additional explanation on this. And then we'll also look at some of the key things that the minority folk followed this year. There've been successes, such as is raised with the Oslo thing. They raised it. It became a big deal and government said they pulled back. They've also talked already about the work they've done with the drones on that. But there were other issues. For example, the minority early this year said government was going for the Sino-Hydro deal. We're taking a short break. When we return, we'll be interrogating a few more issues, including the very controversial debate surrounding whether the Sino-Hydro arrangement with China was a loan or was not a loan. And the IMF decided that it wasn't a loan after all. And that was, many people pointed out as one of the biggest defeats for the minority. We'll interrogate that when we return. Plus, we haven't finished with this Oslo matter at all, because the government is coming back with further explanations about some of the changes that were made. It wasn't because they requested for it. The man himself decided to upgrade the building, and therefore you can't expect it to sell it anything less than what they propose to sell it. Stay with us on PM Express. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest is the deputy minority leader, James Kluche Avedzi. He is also the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. He used to be the chairman, right? Yeah. The chairman of the Finance Committee. That's just 2 years ago. He was the chairman of the Finance Committee. So on finance issues, he's also very well vexed. And that's why I'm happy that the next conversation we're having after the Oslo thing will be something in his area. We'll be interrogating that very shortly. How the minority themselves have done in scrutinizing the issues around the economy. But let's finish up on this Oslo thing. Government has argued that part of the reason, and because you produce a video in which I have watched, in fact I played it on one of my, the same show. Yeah. We saw the workers in the building working, and the guy who was filming interacted with them. It was in Norwegian language, but one of the words that stuck out was Chancery. And the interpretations and we've heard is that the workers themselves said that these renovations we're doing, the building is going to be used for Chancery. And the implication is that this is a government request that they were implementing. But government says that it's exactly not true. That the owner of this building just decided, bought it for 3 million, as you said, and decided to renovate and upgrade and sell. And it was not based at all on the request that we're making, and that's why the price will go up. You can't expect to buy it any less when the man has put in money to upgrade. What's your reaction to that?
First of all, Evans, the government is coming with two positions. Which of them is correct, or which of them is right? The government is saying that, oh, we have abrogated the contracts. We are no more interested in it. The same government is saying that, oh, we are buying it at that price because there has been value added. Which of them? Which of the two should we take?
But the value added came before the
It means that they are justifying the 12.2 million because value has been added. That is a point. Why should they also come and say, oh, we haven't even entered into any contract or we have withdrawn from the contract? They're only trying to justify. You have caught a thief. The thief is trying to tell you that, hey, I wasn't going to steal. I was only carrying it to somebody else. That is a point. So, Evans, we cannot accept the explanation given by government. No, they were spending the money, and we have arrested them. They drop it.
That case is dead, is it not? Because it's not going anywhere. It's something that you're going to do about it again? The government says I'm not paid. We moved on.
We have achieved our aim.
Which is what?
Which is that public funds have been saved.
So you leave it there?
Well,
because if what you say is true, you caught the thief in the act and the thief left it. You don't leave the thief to go. That's not what happened. That's not what happens in real life. If your analogy is right.
Yeah, we in minority, our objective, the main objective, is to ensure that there is value for money for whatever expenditure our government is incurring for the people of Ghana. So we have achieved that aim. We do not have the power to prosecute the thief because the thief here is the one who is in charge. So we don't have the power to prosecute.
By the way, do we object to you using thief to describe anything, this deal?
Well, I'm using thief. In fact, even if I say they are not thief, they only took the money They want to steal the money.
But they haven't taken any money.
They want to take the money.
But they haven't taken any money. Two different positions. They want to. It's different from they have taken.
Evans, you have entered into
an agreement. They had an intention.
You have entered into an agreement.
And they found there was a problem.
You were going to pay.
Stop. They didn't
you were going to pay. That is why you provided. That is why you provided details to Parliament committee. Parliament committee will look at it and say, everything is okay. Yeah. Boom, it's approved by Parliament.
Parliament committee did its job and spotted there was a problem.
That is a point. That is a point.
Yeah, so
we have raised that point. We did our job.
But that's what that's what government is about.
So we have saved money for the people of Ghana. Give the praises to the minority. Give the praises to the minority. Credit should come to her because we have saved Ghanaians
but you are not the originators of this alarm.
Because of the
Norwegian newspapers have done the work already. Of course, all you saw is some publication online which
if we sit down sleeping without going to the net, we would have seen that. We wouldn't have. We wouldn't have. It would have ended in Norway.
A Ghanaian in Norway just let somebody.
Of course. That is why that is our linkage to have the network so that we can get information. So please, we are doing our work as minority. We want to save Ghanaians' value. We are doing our work. And we will continue to do. Once we get more, we will bring it up.
Yeah, but they are managing your members on their committees, including your Kujeto Ablakwa, who has been described as...
If you say managing, what do you mean?
I'm quoting directly from the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee who held the press conference and said that Kujeto Ablakwa is a liar. He has a penchant for twisting facts and leaking information and working against the committee and Parliament. And so he can't see himself even working with him anymore on the committee. And so the words he used are, we'll manage him on the committee. They'll manage him on the committee.
Let me tell you, he can be managed by his party. If the president called him and said, you chairman, why are you sitting down for the ranking member to overrun the committee? That is the only thing that he can do, just to tell the president that, oh, I'm actually working. And that is all he can do. He has no power over who becomes the ranking member of that committee. That committee is a speaker's committee. The membership is selected by committee of selection, which is chaired by Mr. Speaker. The leadership of that committee in terms of the ranking member is decided by the minority leadership. He cannot choose our ranking member for us. If Okujeto is too hot for him, and he cannot work with him, I advise him, as the chairman of the committee, to plead with his leadership to change him, to bring somebody else. Because we are not going to change Okujeto from that committee. No, he's doing his work, and we know that he's doing his work perfectly, and he'll continue to do it. How is he going to manage Okujeto? In which way? To bribe him, he is not prepared to take any bribe. I don't know what it's talking about managing. If he has the facts, he has the issue, he'll bring it up. So I don't think we should even debate or discuss that thing further. So I don't know how he's going to manage.
So you see this particular case as a success for you?
Well, if you Evans don't think it's a success, I know majority of Ghanaians this is a success because had it not been this issue blown out in Parliament, this government would have gone with this money
and spent it. Let's talk about a big matter in the course of the year. We debated for weeks, even ended up at the IMF. It was such a big deal. Internationally, people were watching and commenting. The deal with China, the Sino-Hydro deal. Yeah. You had maintained consistently that the $2 billion was a loan. Government says it was a barter, and it had serious implications. Because if we say it's a loan, it's adding to our GDP, debt to GDP ratio, which has serious implications for us. But if we say it's a barter, it won't factor it in. And then that gives you liquidity space to play around. You did something that we haven't seen in a while. You petitioned the IMF, correct? Did you petition the IMF?
No, not petition. We wrote to them.
You wrote to the IMF, okay. And the IMF came back with a verdict, which you lost.
No.
The IMF says that it's a loan and not a barter agreement.
No. Evans, there's a definition for a loan, and there's a definition for barter.
Yes.
Barter is exchange of goods.
And services sometimes.
And services sometimes. I have this product. You have another product. I need your product. You also need mine. So we decide that depending on the products, I'll take yours, you take mine. That ends the matter. This thing happened at the time that we do not have medium of exchange. In the olden days, where we don't have medium of exchange to value, where I can use that medium of exchange to take your product. You can also use the same medium of exchange to take mine. We do not have. So the only thing that we can do is that because I need your product, because you also need mine, take mine, let me take yours. That ends the matter. That is better. What is the Sino-Hydro facility? Government of Ghana want to go and mine what?
Bauxite.
Bauxite. And change the value to alumina. And then sell the value. Government think that I do not have the money to go and mine the bauxite. So that is how Sino-Hydro is coming in. Sino-Hydro is interested in the alumina, not the bauxite. It's interested in the alumina. But the agreement is that, can you use your own money to come and mine the bauxite and then turn it into alumina? Then I sell it to you. But the money you are going to use to mine the bauxite is money that if I sell the alumina to you, you take that your value from it. If that is the agreement and it ends there, would have said it's a barter. But here, the money that Sino-Hydro is going to use to mine the bauxite, government of Ghana have to pay interest on it. There is an arrangement fee must be paid by government. There is a management fee that must be paid by government. There is a duration within which government must pay the money. And you want to tell me that I'm so blind that this is not a loan? Where a loan is a value that you take from either an individual, a company, or whatever, and then pay back with interest. In this case, you are paying interest, you are paying management fee, you are paying arrangement fee, and you want to tell me that this is not a loan? If, you see, the reason why government don't want it to be a loan is what you said earlier on. Yep. They don't want to add it to the public debt, to increase the public debt. So, yes, we know that you want to use the value you are going to get from the bauxite in alumina, and then pay for it. Don't forget that whatever you are going to get from that bauxite is public money. Must be paid into the consolidated fund. Okay? So if you take money from Sino-Hydro to mine the bauxite, whatever money derived, when you sell it, whatever money you get, must pay into the consolidated fund. Then you pay out of the consolidated fund to Sino-Hydro. It's a complete loan. Look, if IMF says that it's not a loan, we have maintained that position and posterity will judge us. Yes. We have maintained that position and we will continue to maintain that position because I am a finance person. There's a reason. I am a finance person.
Let me ask a question. Why did you write to the IMF?
We didn't ask IMF to say that, is this a loan or a barter?
You were, no. Yeah, but you were, why
no.
did you, but we wrote to the IMF.
We told IMF that this is a loan and for that matter, you have to treat it as a loan.
Why was that necessary?
It is necessary because, let me give you examples. The same government of Ghana went to China to take money to build a Bui Dam and said we will use our cocoa proceeds to pay for it. Is it a barter or a loan? It's a loan. And IMF treated it as a loan. Again, we went to China to go and take 3 billion, which later they disbursed only 1 billion from CDB, that we will use the sale of our proceeds from our petroleum revenue to pay for it. Did IMF treat it as a barter? It's a loan. The same way we went to China, to Sino-Hydro to take money, to come and mine bauxite, turn it into alumina and sell. And this time we want to say it's barter. Yes. Please.
No, but please. I get your point.
So we wrote to IMF that you have treated the first one as a loan. You have treated the second one as a loan. kindly treat this one also as a
And they
loan.
disagree with you.
No, well, fine, they can disagree. But as I said earlier,
but
posterity will judge us.
But the IMF
and I believe strongly,
strongly
that one day, me, James Kruche Avedzi, you, Evans Mensah, we will meet on this matter, and we will be vindicated.
How will you be vindicated?
Because it's a loan.
Because the IMF is not considering it as a loan, and so this is not going to affect our
recently, Christine Lagarde was in Ghana.
Yes.
Came to praise us.
Yes.
Where everything is on court. And I was interviewed by my local station. I told them, look, if you are hungry, but you are in very nice suit, red tie, very good, nice suit, then Christine Lagarde moved from first class flight from Washington to Ghana, came to sleep in the best hotel in Ghana, giving the international cuisine to eat, and finish, you come and tell you, Evans, the way I see you dress, you are not hungry. Will you accept it?
So what's the point of that?
The point is that Christine Lagarde cannot come from Washington, come and tell us that Ghana is on course.
Why can't you say that?
The people, the individual, the ordinary man on the street knows what is happening to him.
Are you questioning the integrity of the IMF?
I am.
The IMF?
Yes, I am. I'm telling him that if Christine Lagarde comes to say that the economy in Ghana is good, the people on the streets will know whether the economy is good or not. That is my point.
What incentive has the IMF to lie to us about our true state
You are using that word.
Okay, I mean, what word will you use?
I am saying that what Christine Lagarde is telling us is not the true position of what is happening.
So it's untrue. If it's untrue, it's a lie.
I don't use the word lie.
Okay, so what? It's untrue.
It's not untrue. It's not what is happening on the ground. It's not what is happening on the ground. So it's different from what is happening on the ground.
It's different from what is happening on the ground.
Yes.
You're not telling us.
I'm saying that if the economy in Ghana is good, I should feel it in my pocket.
But I'm
should also feel it in the pocket.
What
the ordinary man on the street should also feel it in his pocket.
But what incentive has the IMF to tell us this untruth?
I don't know. I think they are the best people to answer that question.
But to question the IMF credibility on such a very important matter.
I am not crediting their credibility. I'm saying that if they say the economy of Ghana is good, it might reflect in our pockets. If the ordinary Ghanaian feel that it is not reflecting in his or her pocket, then what IMF is telling us is not what is happening on the ground.
But your government, your IMF that you say, yeah, I am questioning, your government ran to the IMF when you were in trouble.
The people of Ghana felt that what IMF was telling them wasn't the position, and they voted the NDC out of power.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes.
So the IMF that you ran
based on what IMF was saying all the time, were editing rosy, I don't think that people of Ghana would said the economy is bad, we will not vote for the NDC. They would have voted for NDC. They wanted a change.
But you thought,
and now the same IMF is saying that everything is perfect. You're on course. You're moving, cruising very well.
But at the time you're making a decision,
people on the ground think that we're actually not cruising.
I see.
Because I need money to buy Kinky, I can't get it.
Yeah. But the time you're making the decision to go to IMF, you thought the IMF was the thing to save you. Policy credibility. You needed the almost $1 billion. And you thought it was the thing.
At the time we did that, what did the MPP in opposition at the time, what did they say?
They predicted you were going to go?
No. About the ECF, the extended credit facility.
Yeah, they thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah. When they came, what did they do?
They
extended it.
Because they said they left them no choice.
No.
You left them.
If you say, listen, if you say this is a bad deal, when you come, end it. So that you go for the good deal.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh.
You signed a deal with the IMF.
So they didn't know. They didn't know when they said that when we come, we will abrogate that contract. They didn't know. That tells you that the people were playing on the ignorance of Ghanaians.
Okay.
They knew that this, when we come, we cannot stop it. We will even extend it. They said December 2018, but you know that it's April 2019. That in
fact, that's what we're going to be talking about next, this IMF deal. The president just, at this meet the press, was emphatic that they will meet the targets and exit and they will not look back. This is the final time. But is the economy that sound to justify an exit, and is it automatic? We'll speak to him. Now we'll be tapping into his financial background. And then we'll go into the other thing that happened this year that the minority did. And that was also very big because he went to the finance minister. It is about this bond. They call it the Ken Bond Gate. You remember that? They even wrote a petition to the SEC in the USA. And they said, you got to come, and a part of it went to Shraj, and the minority wrote to the SEC, and they told us that we should wait for the outcome. It's almost the end of the year. What happened to that petition that they sent to the US SEC? We'll be asking that one in return. And also interrogate this IMF matter. Stay with us on PMS, right? Thank you for staying with us here on PMS. We had a very interesting conversation with a man who I told you he's a straight shooter when it comes to these issues, and still assessing the role of the minority in this governance structure of ours, this democracy of ours this year. And we'll be looking ahead to 2019 shortly. Just one before we went for the break, we're talking about the IMF. Let's finish with the IMF conversation, because something important is going to happen next year. I remember that he was the chair of the finance committee when we went to the IMF, and so he knew a lot about that. But this government is determined, after extending it for a year, to pull out. But their targets will be met. It's not like you can just wake up one morning and say you left. Their targets will be met. Economic targets will be met. And so, what is his view on this? Mr. Avedzi, you heard the president sounding very confident. We're going to leave the IMF because your fundamentals are right, and we are going to know. We are not going to come back to the IMF, etc., etc. What's your own reading of that situation? The 2019, we were supposed to be exiting.
First of all, in a budget statement, the Minister of Finance claimed that we are exiting IMF by December this year.
True.
So we expect that from January 2019, there should not be any ECF, that is extended credit facility, that we have entered into. But that is not the case.
Okay.
They are rather going to end it in April 2019. We're supposed to be ending in April 2018. So it means that they have extended for 1 more year. It means that even when they came, they will not be able to meet the targets that will enable us to exit by April 2018. They've extended it, and as of December 2018, we have also not met the target. And I don't think that they will meet the target by April 2019. Nevertheless, we have to wait to see what will happen in April 2019. If we actually end it without meeting the targets, or we will still have to extend it in order to meet the target. That will be the decision that government will have to take. So what it means is that the ECF itself is actually helping government. That is why government will still maintaining that ECF and don't want to exit it. Because if it's not helping, the government would have exited that long ago and look for a new project or whatever. Or
you think it's a vindication of a decision to go?
Of course. It's a vindication of the situation that, MPP, NDC went into the IMF with the extended credit facility. It was a good thing to streamline our finances, to make sure that we follow and ensure that targets are met. In fact, it is because of that facility that we have entered into, and when they came, because they did not abrogate it and they continue, that was why they were able to meet certain targets, which the president is claiming credit for. That credit should have gone to NDC because we went to the IMF with that project, the facility. So once you follow it and you are meeting those targets, the only thing that they have not met all the targets, but at least you are making an improvement.
Do you admit that going to the IMF is an admission that you have failed in managing your own affairs, and so let me go to the big boss, the big man, so come and help me?
No. You see, the issue is about fiscal prudence. We could do it without going to IMF.
Could you have done it without going to the IMF?
Yeah, we could have done it.
2015?
Let me tell you one thing.
Let
me tell you one thing. You see, before you can decide completely that I am not going to go to the IMF, I'm not going to the World Bank, this Bretton Woods institution, before I'm not going to go, you have to be well to do. You see, this is a special facility that you are going for. But they continue to support you with grants. They continue to support you with what? Credits that are soft in nature. Yep. If you decide that I'm not going to go to the IMF, I'm not going to go to the World Bank for those loans and those grants, they can sabotage you. They can. I'm not saying they will sabotage you, but they can sabotage you. So because we are members of the fund, definitely when we are facing some challenges and we go to them, they come and said, well, let's have a project, let's have a program. Go like this, go like this, go like this. in terms of your expenditure, don't spend beyond certain amount. Don't spend beyond. Make sure you achieve this target. Debt to GDP should be this. Your salaries, compensation to your total revenue collection in a year should be so much. That it guides government. That when you are spending, you be cautious. That if I go beyond, I will not meet the target. I will default in the terms of the agreement, and I can be punished because we are members of the fund. But if you don't go according to what, the next time you go, they will not give you any assistance. So first of all, it's not an admission that you have failed completely, but it's a way of guiding you that once you do that, even the people living in your country will know that you are going to the IMF and you need to fulfill the terms of that agreement. If we don't go at all, we can go and borrow anything we want to borrow. But the thing is that if we don't go to IMF and we are not using the 70% debt to GDP as a guide, we could go and borrow, have 200% to GDP. But the question is, we will be able to pay those facilities. That is a question. And if you are not able to pay, will the people, the creditor, come to attach some of your properties, sensitive installations? And what is the sovereignty of our country? Are we selling it? Those are the issues.
Okay. Let's finally touch on, I mean, still looking back on the 2018, let's touch on something that happened this year. There was a very controversial bond matter that was issued by government this year. I think it was 5 billion, was it? $2.25 billion. And
Franklin
Templeton, yes, became a big subject because you brought it up. You said there was conflict of interest there, possibly because the finance minister, a close relative of the president, had given the thing to his friends and cronies. You know, it traveled. In fact, part of this was Ashraj. Ashraj looked into it, and
Ashraj said that was a conflict of interest.
Well, he said something that was negative,
which is being fought now contested in court.
But there was an aspect that you drove, which is that you actually filed a petition to the Securities Commission in the USA. And in fact, Samokujo Tablaka was the one who led this. And you told us that, you know, we received correspondence that, you know, almost the end of the year. Where are we with that?
It is true that we filed a petition with SEC in the US. We sent Okujeto Ablakwa. He went and delivered this. We had a number of correspondents from them that they were going to, first of all, investigate the company, the investment company that bought Franklin Templeton. So I have not had a current update on that. So it is not something that we have abandoned. Because locally, when we petitioned the Shraj did their investigation. They have established the conflict of interest.
But they largely cleared the minister.
Contested. Well, it depends on how you consider. If what we are saying that, our argument is that there has been a conflict of interest, and then how do you call it? Is it Yoko?
Yes.
Yoko did their work and they found out that there has been a conflict of interest position. Then it means that it's not about clearing the minister. But that is being contested in court.
There was another part of it that didn't entirely go in his favor, which is being contested in court.
So we have to wait for that.
But the one that you chose to fight on, you haven't.
As I said,
it abandoned. I put it to you that you've abandoned it.
Well, you can decide to say whatever you want to say.
But you haven't seen any result. If the minority had something on that, you will be the first to announce it. Because you don't have anything, you've kept quiet. You're hoping that we'll forget to move on with our lives.
No. I just told you, and I'm going to repeat myself, that I've not had current briefing on this matter.
Okay.
So if you can give me a day, if you can give me a day or two, I'll get a current
you're still interested in this matter,
then
though?
We still have interest in it because the case is running in court. Why should we not have interest in it? We are saying that the transaction was not in the best interest of Ghana. You have gone for a facility which is a foreign standard facility, but you are applying local rates, which was wrong. The reason why countries want to go and borrow from external source is that the cost of service, the cost of the loan is cheaper than when you buy it from the domestic source. So if you go for Franklin Templeton to issue a bond at Franklin Templeton and you took the money in dollars, that is external bond, it should not attract more than 10% interest. Looking at the Euro bond that we have issued in the past. But here in the case, given the interest of 19.75%, that is a point that we are raising. So, and because you're able to do that because you issue the bond to your cronies, somebody that you knew, somebody who was a member of that investment company, who is a board chairman, all those issues. They can dispute it, but the facts are there. So that is it. So we have not abandoned it. We are still on it, and I can brief you, update you later when I have briefing.
And finally, 2019 is going to be a very busy year. This is a year before the elections. It's always busy.
Yeah.
What should we expect from the minority in 2019?
We in the minority will be more critical about what the MPP will be doing. We'll be more critical to ensure that whatever they do is in the interest of the public. So expect more from us in 2019. I wouldn't want to tell you that probably in the beginning of the year we'll welcome you with a New Year gift.
I've heard in the corridor that there's one big one you're holding on to. You want the Oslo one to run its course before you.
We'll welcome with a New Year gift to let Ghanaians that minority, we are there in the interest of the public. We want to fight.
You know the president's reaction to that? He says, well, here they go again. The fabrications are going to... In fact, he said at a press briefing that as we approach 2020, expect more. The fabrications will be coming in its droves. He listened to you and say, I told you.
The president is a very smart guy, you know that. He wants to disabuse your mind. Simple. That is what he wants to achieve. That if anything comes, it's fabrication. We are not going to fabricate anything. How do we fabricate things? Do we come every day and say, it's corruption here, corruption there? No. We come when we get it. We come when we get it. How can you, a Greek minister, spend money to buy fertilizer where about 1/3...
The 50 metric tons.
Yeah. Which is $12 million smuggled out of the country. Is that not a scandal?
But that happens.
What happened? What?
The smuggling of fertilizer.
Tell me.
I don't know, but is it happening?
You don't have any figure.
I don't. Yes.
You don't.
But we know it's happened before.
Well, you know, I don't know.
Smuggling of fertilizer in this country is not new.
No, I know now because there is a fact, there is evidence that 12 million worth of fertilizer have been smuggled out of this country. Okay. And that money goes waste.
Well, Mr. Avedzi,
I think that MPP have some likeness for the figure 12.
12 million for Oslo building, 12 million for fertilizer. Mr. Avedzi, I'm grateful that you joined us. It's always good talking to you. My name is Evans Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.